Type 2 diabetes is a disease in which your pancreas does not produce enough insulin, or your body does not properly use the insulin it makes. As a result, glucose builds up in your blood instead of being used for energy. My grandpa, Bob Kinlan, is diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. The first thing I thought of when I found out I had diabetes was, damn, no more candy. I knew that I did not want to have a needle to inject insulin for myself, so I decided that I would try as best as I could to eat healthy and exercise daily. I knew I needed to take care of myself. After time, your diabetes gets worse, so eventually I needed to be put on medication and keep eating healthy and exercising. His wife, Ruth, had to change the way she cooked so that he could be eating right. It was a struggle at first, but now it's part of our everyday life. Changing your entire lifestyle without any warning would be hard enough, and to make it harder, there were some other challenges he faced along the way. 11 years after being diagnosed with diabetes, Bob had a heart attack. Bob was 56 and feeling good. One night he woke up with excruciating pain in his chest. It was unbearable. He was rushed to the hospital on Humboldt, where they live, and later on to Saskatoon. He had had a heart attack. A heart attack occurs if the flow of oxygen-rich blood to a section of the heart muscle suddenly becomes blocked. If blood flow isn't resorted quickly, the section of the heart muscle begins to die. He came out with heart damage. He would never feel 100% again. My grandpa told me the story of that night. His wife was supposed to call his family and tell them they needed to come to the hospital right now. It was the middle of the night. He told me of how my dad had woken me and told me that we were going to visit him in the hospital. I was about 2 years old. He says that my dad must have told me he had a problem with his heart because I asked for a Band-Aid and held it the whole way there. Once I got there, I ran up to him and put it on his heart. My grandpa told me that from then on, I was his reason to stay. He felt like he couldn't leave me. A coronary stent is a tube placed in the coronary arteries that supply the heart to keep the arteries open in the treatment of coronary heart disease. Stents reduce chest pain and have been shown to improve survivability in the event of an acute myocardial infarction. Bob had one put in his heart after his attack in 1999. Bob was trying to get back to normal. He started working again and living life to his fullest, until one day while he was visiting his son in Estevan. We were driving to breakfast, I think it was, and I started to get dizzy. My speech was blurred, and then I couldn't talk. We went to the hospital. I was told I had a stroke. Bob had a CAT scan, and they told him he could go home. A couple days later, when we were back home in Humboldt, we got a call. The CAT scan had found something. I was told I had a brain tumor. I was told I needed surgery right away. Surgery would be very risky, since he had a heart attack and diabetes. They didn't know if it would be successful. In 2002, he underwent surgery. Scared and very nervous, he went into the room where he would be put out and receive a 6-hour surgery. Bob had to shave his head before surgery, and he did it a week early so his family could see him bald. He wanted to see what they thought, and he felt having no hair before would make the situation less tense. Then we could all laugh about it together. My grandma Ruth told me she was so scared, and there were nights she just cried, but in front of him, she kept strong. If she was positive, she felt it would be better. She prayed every night and morning, hoping that everything would work out okay. He tells me when he woke up, he was joyed. He was so happy he was alive. He had very little energy and was very tired. The doctors came in and told me it was successful and the tumor was not cancerous. I was so relieved, and I just wanted to see my family. it wasn't for his wife, Ruth, and family, he would have had a harder time, and sometimes he thinks it's us who kept him here. Everything was working out for Bob again. He went back to work and was feeling like he could keep going. After turning 67, he decided he could retire so he could relax and spend more time with his family. A year after retiring, he felt pain in his chest again. He went to the hospital to get it checked out. He would need another coronary stent implant. In January of 2011, he received it, but it didn't work as best as it should. So in March 2011, he received another one. He was happy to realize it had worked this time, and it is still working to this day. Bob never feels 100%, but he has some days where it's close. He knows it will never be the same because of all he's went through, but he keeps pushing and being strong for his family. Fall of 2012 came around and Bob was missing work. He wanted to go back. Now, at 70 years old, he works part-time at the school he loves in Humboldt and is eating healthy and exercising. Bob is living his life to the fullest. He wants to do everything he can. Bob wants to travel, but because of all the medication he takes, he can't get health insurance for out-of-the-country visits. He wants to share the places he has been with his grandkids, but now he can't. He keeps pushing to do the things he loves and surrounds himself with family. He wants to be able to see his grandchildren grow up and see them have a life of their own, and he wants them to be happy. My grandpa is the strongest guy I know. He's always pushing through, and he's been through so much. I'll love my grandpa forever and always.